Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. So we are the group 1 and we're going to report about the transportation method of linear programming. So what is transportation method of linear programming? So transportation method of linear programming is applied to the problems related to the study of the efficient transportation routes, how efficiently the product from different sources of production is transported to the different destinations, such as the total transportation cost is mean. Here, origin means the place where the product is originated or manufactured for the ultimate sales, while the places where the product is required to be sold is called the destination. So, for solving the transportation problem, the following steps are to be systematically followed. So, first, we have obtaining the initial feasible solution, which means identifying the solution that satisfies the requirements of demand and supply. Under this method, we have several methods through which the initial feasible solution can be obtained. These are the northwest corner, least cost method, and the
Vogel's approximation method. And for the second one, we have testing the optimality of the initial feasible solution. Under this method, we have stepping stone method and modified distribution method or MODI.
So for the final step is we need to revise the solution until the optimum solution is obtained. So let's talk about the northwest corner. So the northwest corner rule is a method adopted to compute the initial feasible solution of the transportation problem. The name northwest corner is given to this method because the basic variables are selected from the extreme left corner.
The least cost method. The least cost method is another method used to obtain the initial feasible solution for the transportation problem. Here, the allocation begins with the cell which has the minimum cost. The lower cost cells are chosen over the higher cost cell with the objective to have the least cost of transportation. The least cost method is considered to produce more optimal results than the northwest corner because it considers the shipping cost while making the allocation, whereas the northwest corner method only considers the availability and supply requirement and allocation begin with the extreme left corner, irrespective of the shipping cost.
Now for the next approximation method, I will now discuss to you the VAM, also known as the Vogel's approximation method. So this method is an iterative process designed to identify the initial workable solution to the transportation problem. So there are 5 steps in using this method. First step is we should determine the difference between the two list cells that have not been allocated for both the rows and columns. Next, if there is a tie, we choose the one where the maximum quantity can be assigned while taking into account the least expensive price as well, and then choose the difference that is the greatest between the rows and columns. Step 3, in the row or column where the cost is lowest, place the highest quantity possible given the constraints on demand and supply. For step 4, we will now eliminate the row that has been satisfied. And for the last step, we will now check if all the requirements of demand and supply are met. If it's not, we will repeat the whole process from the beginning. That's all for the Vogel's approximation method, and for the next method, that will be discussed by Mr. Mark Vincent Bahade.
The stepping stone method. The stepping stone method is used to verify that the initial workable solution found using any of the methods is optimal. In light of the objective function, the stepping stone approach is a way for determining the potential of any non-basic variables or the empty cells. We calculate the impact on the transportation cost of assigning 1 unit to the vacant cell using the stepping stone approach. This approach allows us to determine if the answer is optimum or not. The stepping stone approach involves the following stages to determine whether the initial viable option is optimal. First is making sure that the number of occupied cells is precisely equal to m plus n minus 1, where m is the number of rows and n is the number of columns, is a necessary condition before solving for optimality. The third one is the empty cell is first chosen and then a closed loop, a closed route that originates in the empty cell and circles back to the same empty cell is built. The following conditions should be kept in mind when establishing a closed loop. First is, cells are chosen in a closed loop in a manner that leaves one cell empty or unoccupied while using or occupying all other cells. Second, 2 consecutively utilized cells are found in the same row or column. Neither a row nor a column may have 3 consecutive occupied cells. Then, either in the same row or column, the initial and last cells of the closed loop are located. Only vertical and horizontal movement is permitted. and making a closed loop. Next one is, once the loop has been made, place a positive or negative symbol alternately on each corner cell of the loop, starting with the empty cell. Then, continue until all of the vacant cells have been assessed. The best answer has now been found if all calculated changes are positive, equal to, or larger than 0. And lastly, however, there may be a room to further cut the cost of transportation if any value turns out to be negative. Then allocate as many units as you can to the empty cell with the biggest negative change. To balance the demands for supply and demand, subtract the unit that was added to the vacant cell from the other cells with a negative sign in a loop. And the next report will be discussed to you by the next reporter.
Hi, I'm Romarche, and I'm here to discuss what is MODI method. MODI method is an improvement over stepping stone method. This model studies the minimization of the cost of transporting a commodity from a number of sources to several destinations. The supply at each source and the demand at each destination are known. Why is MODI important? Well, modified distribution method reduces the number of steps involved in the evaluation of empty cells, thereby minimizes the complexity and gives a straightforward computational scheme through which the opportunity cost of each empty cell can be determined. And now, let us tackle one of the problems in the transportation method, which is the concept of northwest corner can be well understood through a transportation problem given. In the table, 3 sources A, B, and C with the production capacity of 50, 40, and 60 units of product respectively is given. Every day, the demand of 3 retailers, the D, E, and F, is to be furnished with at least 20 units, 95 units, and 35 units of product respectively. The transportation costs are also given in the matrix. Similarly, in case the supply is more than the demand, then the dummy source is created whose demand will be equivalent to the difference between supply and demand. Again, the cost associated with the dummy source will be 0. Once the demand and supply are equal, the following procedure is followed. Select the northwest or extreme left corner of the matrix. Assign as many units as possible to cell AD within the supply and demand constraints, such as 20 units are assigned to the first cell that satisfies the demand of destination D while the supply is in surplus. Now, move horizontally and assign 30 units to the cell AE. Since 30 units are available with the source A, the supply gets fully saturated. Now, move vertically in the matrix and assign 40 units to cell BE. The supply of source B gets fully saturated also. Again, move vertically and assign 25 units to cell CE. The demand and destination E is full. Move horizontally in the matrix and assign 35 units to cell CF. Both the demand and supply of origin and destination gets saturated. Now, the total cost can be computed. The total cost can be computed by multiplying the units assigned to each cell with the concerned transportation cost. Therefore, total cost equals 20 times 5 plus 30 times 8 plus 40 times 6 plus 25 times 9 plus 35.6 equals the RS of 1015. That is all from our presentation. Thank you for listening and have a good day.